I want to share this. It's going to be a conversation between you and me, okay? Because I know that we are in times where we really are facing different emergencies. I will try to speak in English, good English. I rehearse, but sorry if there are some words that are my creation. So, okay. So I want to start with a question. Have you experienced a disaster or emergency? Some of you have experienced that. And I guess many of us have experienced that. Even today is the anniversary of main things, 11th of September, 23 years ago, as the Two Towers disaster or terrorist attack occurred. And in 73 occurred something, the army took over the government in Chile. And because of that, I am in Costa Rica right now. So it's anniversary of different difficult situations that the world have faced. And so normally we have experienced a disaster or an emergency. So can you remember how was your immediate response to that? Without judging, without feeling bad, but what was your immediate response to whatever you experienced? And what have you observed and learned about the human soul's capacity to deal with disasters? What do you observe from human souls that have experienced disasters, emergencies, or very difficult situations? What have you learned about the capacities that the human souls have? If you have any thoughts, you can share within your chat or just go inside and try to remember these kind of things. And from where do our responses come from? And I wanted to start with those questions first because I have learned a lot working with souls that have been facing many different violent situations. And one thing is that we all have the capacity to face challenges. Oh, sorry. Someone is calling a lot. You just have to remember that you can, because I remember when I started to work with women that were victims or have survived situations of torture and violence, and I used to feel that I was kind of saving them for whatever they faced. And I remember that once I realized that they have even more strength of what I have, because they were able to deal every day with something that I don't even imagine that I can deal with. And they were able to do it. So human beings have a lot of capacities. The soul is unlimited. And we can deal even with the most difficult situations. And we have to remember that we just have to sometimes to help each other, to remember each other that we can do it. And one can always start over. Every day is a new day. And maybe we can lose many things. We can lose members of our family. We can lose the physical safety or security. We have sometimes to move from one country to another. That happened in the case of my Lokic family and myself. But we can always start over. Every day is a new day. And for me, that is very important because we have to kind of reinvent ourselves, especially when we are facing very difficult situations. Another learning is that when the hill is steep, one must slow down, change the pace, and take the support of a cane to maintain balance. And the cane is Baba. It's like sometimes when we are facing a very big earthquake or flooding, we cannot put the pressure on ourselves that we have to kind of do everything in the same pace and push over to us to do things very fast and create solution fast, because it's not the time for that. It's the time for slowing down, going into introspection, silence, and to really take the support of faith. Because I think that we can lose many things, but the only thing we cannot lose is faith and Baba. That is our real support in those moments. And you may need to rest, but don't give up. And it's true when it is a situation that is chronic. It's not something that just come and goes, but you have to face with that every day. You may need to rest, but don't give up. You will be able to continue. And yeah. And something that I learned recently, well, some years ago, I was able to be with souls that were researching about traumatic experiences, especially terrorist attacks. And they were sharing with me when something is trauma or cause trauma for some souls, and the same situation don't cause trauma for others. And what is the difference? Why cause trauma for some and not for others? And I learned that everything depends on the meaning that we give to that event. And for example, for some souls that were in the terrorist attack in France, in a disco, that some souls started to shoot, and many were dead. And some of the people that experienced that event, they avoid to talk about that. They avoid to go back to that place. And they started to have dreams about that. They started to experience fear again, as that have happened just 1 minute ago. Whilst others that were able to give another meaning to the situation, they were able to express what was their experience to friends or to other souls. They were able to go back to that place and do some kind of ritual to heal the situation. They gave another meaning to what happened. And that became a way to overcome the traumatic experience. So I want to ask you, what meaning can I give to the situation that I'm facing right now in the light of the knowledge to empower the self and others? Because I am the one who gives meaning to life. It's not that the life just happened and disaster can just happen. but we can give a meaning of is a situation where all of us are going to heal or to settle karmic accounts, or is a situation where we are all going to learn to be strong or to be detached or some other meaning. But we can give a meaning that empowers the self and not weaken the self. I hope that you are understanding me. If you have not understand, please tell me. And when we face any critical situations, there are different phases. First is an impact phase. And in that phase, the reactions that occur when the threat is real and perceived as being very close is, for example, when you're starting to feel the earthquake and you realize that it's a strong earthquake, for example, then it's coming the reaction phase. You have already understood what is happening to you and what the event implies in your life. It is in this moment where the person receives the full impact of the event. So it's where we realized, okay, what has happened, how many things we lost, and things like that. And then it's supposed to come a reorientation phase where there is acceptance of the event and you are able to integrate it into your life as an experience, which you turn into a meaningful learning. So this is normally what happens in any critical event. And now we are going to understand about how our mind and body works when we have fear or stress. And this is very useful, not only for ourselves, but to work with or to help other souls that will come to our places or to you after they have experienced a very critical experience. One thing, imagine this picture. How this soul jumped so high. Do you think that he will jump so high in a normal and regular situation? Because he was like a bull was chasing him, no? And because of that, he felt fear. And what happened when we have fear is the adrenaline shoots up. And the adrenaline, it has a different impacts in the self. This causes blood to be redirected from the intestine and to the arms and legs and from the skin to the muscles. And so our breathing accelerates. And this prepares the body for fight, running, jumping, climbing, etc. And it can also cause the body to freeze. You know, some animals, they just freeze and they play dead. Sometimes when we are facing fear, we do the same. And people cannot move because of that. And all of that is a normal response. But what happened is that in these times, people not only have fear, but have anxiety. That is fear, but more connected of what is going to happen in the future. And this adrenaline has an impact on our body, causing all these other many things. Palpitations, heart jerks, increased heart rate. There is hyperventilation, dizziness, nausea, many different things. So people, when they are feeling this, is so uncomfortable that they even feel that they are going to die because of this. And during pandemic, what happened is that these experiences of fear were so similar of what the COVID created. this this problem with breathing. So maybe many people that were having anxiety, they went to the doctor believing that they had COVID, but what they really had was anxiety, was fear. But because the symptoms are similar, they didn't know that. So fear is very powerful. It can create uh, a lot of problems in the self, and it's good to know that this is caused by fear. Okay. So what to do? What is the spiritual support that we can give to ourselves and to someone to strengthen the heart and soul in that moment? For example, if someone is facing a lot of fear because of the situation experienced, and I tell them, please calm down, it's nothing. Do you think that will work for that soul? That soul cannot calm down in that moment. First, because of adrenaline. The adrenaline will remain very high at least 30 minutes. So what is more useful to say to someone who is in that stage? Instead of calm down, you can say, this is going to pass. This is going to pass, and I will be with you, next to you. And this is uncomfortable, but this is going to pass. So we are going to learn 3 different exercises for that have 3 different objectives. First is to facilitate the management of the emotions and thoughts and provide an experience of spiritual support and security and safety, and facilitate immediate decision making based on a balanced inner state, because that is what we need to do at the end, to take a decision that is going to allow us not to be at risk in the situation we are experiencing. So first, exercises to facilitate the management of emotions and thoughts. Okay, so if you can allow yourself to do it, it would be very useful. I mean, even if you have pen and paper and you can do it right now, I'm sure that you will be able to see the results, the good results that these exercises have. First, we need to breathe, because when you are facing this kind of response, you're feeling that the earth is moving or something like that, or very big noise because a bomb or something is coming, your body is going to change. So breathing in 3 accounts, hold in 2 accounts, and exhale in 2 accounts, at least 5 times will help you with the hyperventilation. So let's do it. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, hold, and exhale, 1, 2, 3. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, hold, and exhale, 1, 2, 3. You can continue doing that. I will move on. I want you to identify a situation that is disturbing you. Maybe not so big, or maybe it's big, but something that is creating some emotions in you. How that situation makes you feel. And it's good to kind of write the feelings and emotions, because when you write them, it's easier to understand and to start to to work with them, to manage them. So how that situation makes you feel. And how would I be in a month if the relationship with those feelings haven't changed at all? So from now to 1 month, what happens is if there's no change, there is no change in relationship with those emotions. How would I be? And whatever comes to your mind is good, just to allow that to come, and I can write that without analyzing too much. And how would I be in a month if the relationship with those feelings has started to change even a little bit? Even a little bit. How would I be in a month? Maybe the situation is not changing, but my feelings related to that situation has started to change even a little bit. And how would I be in 6 months if the relationship with those feelings changed much more? And I will visualize myself in 6 months. And the relationship with those feelings changed a lot. So how would I be? So this exercise, what is the use of this exercise? It's a way to be trikaldarshi, but it's a way to give perspective. And when we are in a crisis, normally our mind have a tunnel vision that we don't necessarily see a way out. We feel with no power. Sometimes we don't know what to do. But when we do these kind of exercises, it's like to put light in the end of the tunnel and see that the change is possible. And give space, opening your mind of that change. And for this, it's important to understand that the mind does not understand no. So if we don't want to feel fear or don't want to feel anxiety or anger or any of those emotions, will not work if I tell my mind that I don't want to feel that. Instead of that, I have to think, what is what I want to feel? Is the desired state? We have to visualize what we want to feel. So if I don't want to feel fear, and this is a situation that is chronic, for example, war, how I want to deal with this situation in my everyday life. And visualize that. Okay, so that is for the first phase. Another exercise that helps a lot is to identify the emotions and make a list of all the emotions triggered by the situations. And each one of us is different. And it's okay that we are different dealing with the difficulties, because maybe in the family, some are more emotional, others are very intellectual, others are jumping into solutions and actions, and everything is okay. But in order to the self to deal with that in a healthy way, it's good to connect with the heart and try to write the emotions, and try to understand if they are in my body, if my body is my house, and those emotions came running into my house, where are they in my body? And the place where they are is usually tense, or there is pain, or you could experience more fatigue or tiredness. So sometimes people feel their emotions in their head, sometimes in the lungs or the stomach. Each one of us is different. But try to see where they are. And when you identify them, try to release those trapped emotions. So, for example, an exercise is to visualize a door to a beautiful garden and invite emotions to come out. And they usually don't want to leave. They are holding there in my body. I can feel that. So approach them with patience and compassion. They are just there to give you a message. So imagine that you can allow yourself to be in an introspective state and try to listen the emotions, the feelings. What do they want to tell me? Imagine that they are like naughty animals and they just need attention. Is there something I need to acknowledge, to face, or accept? Is that what they want to tell me? Is there something that I need to let go? And maybe I'm holding something that it's creating more pain. And what change do I need to make? So those are some questions that we can ask to ourselves related to those emotions. And the emotions have a language that is not regular language. Sometimes they speak in a different ways. So we need to take time to understand them. And when we listen, they are going to go. When we don't reject emotions, it's easier for them to just starting to go out. And you will feel relieved, calm, light, and relaxed. It's like they go out from that door and you release the trapped emotions in your body. And you will start to feel calm. So these two exercises are for the first step. And then for the second step, this is the exercise to experience an inner safe space. Because any event of emergency, what it causes is insecurity. And so one very important necessity of the self is safety. We need to feel safe. But you will experience safety after you do the first step, like to work with the feelings, emotions. Then you can do this next step. And I want to do with you an exercise that is very easy to feel safe. When everything around is not safe, when everything around is changing a lot, then think of an image, sound, word, or place that generates a lot of tranquility and peace to you. Choose one thing. It could be an image, a sound, word, place. Choose one thing that generates a lot of tranquility and peace. Bring that to your mind. And try to feel how tranquility feels in your mind, in your body. Imagine that image or place or sound is inside the house of your body, in a private, safe place where nothing can harm you. It's an inner safe space where there is protection, peace, silence. So there you don't need to be defending yourself. You don't need to take any decision. There is nothing to solve. Just feel silence and peace, unprotected. And visualize that as an inner point of support, the safe space. There you're free. There you're eternal, you're light. You're just a peaceful soul. And whatever is happening outside is not affecting you. You are protected. And so you can experience that as being in the eye of the hurricane. In the eye, there is stillness, silence, and you can feel the rays of the sun, like the embrace of pure love of the Supreme Being. Just feel those rays of love that comforts and soothes you. There, everything is okay. And in that stage, you can experience a deep and healing silence, where there is no noise at all, no thoughts. I will feel as being the seed, absolute purity, no changes, constant peace, and embraced by the energy of God. Shanti. Normally, when I do this with souls, I even ask them if they can say from 1 to 10 how peaceful they feel right now. So you know when the mind is in a state of peace and security, then we can take decisions. A mind that is full of fear cannot take the right decisions. So after doing this, we can go to the third phase. That is the exercises to facilitate immediate decision making based on a balanced inner state. And so we need to measure the needs or requirements and work towards a hierarchical order of the person needs, what is needed immediately and what can be saved for later. And I have done this with different cases, different people, and sometimes at the beginning they feel that there's so much to deal with, but at the end, if you help them or help ourselves to see what is needed right now, and maybe right now just one or two things, maybe just move out from the house and go into a safer space or things like that, and then we need to do other things and create a network of support, um, other things that are more complex. And to help to analysis of possible solutions. For example, try to get the person to find their own solutions, not myself saying what to do, but helping them to understand there are many different possible solutions. And maybe we have not thought about that before, but now we can think about them. And of course, we have to see that obstacles could be there, but we can overcome the obstacles with help. And maybe it's good to see what help we need. And I wanted to end with this phrase that helps me. Never fear the shadows. They are only the indication that somewhere nearby there is a shining light. So there is always hope. And I don't know if you have realized that when we have been facing the most difficult situations is where the human capacity of love and generosity and all of that is there too. So that could help too. So this is what I wanted to share. If you have any question or comment, I will happy to address them, or we can just have an experience of yoga too.
There is a question, actually not a question, but somebody says that it's very difficult in war. When my experience say someone says in war is impossible or very difficult. How you deal with a war?
But it's difficult. The war is difficult, of course. The thing is that you are in that stage of alertness. No, you have to be, because anything can happen. And one thing with war is that we lose trust in each other. No, and there is a song that I learned in Nicaragua. There is a country next to Costa Rica that is always having some conflict. And it's so beautiful because the song said, even the bullet that is going to hit me and kill me, that bullet will have a soul behind the bullet. How is that soul that is there? How does it feel? And so it changed the concept of, instead of just seeing the violence, how the souls that are involved are experienced, all of them are experienced fear, and all of them have human souls, no? So if we change the perspective, maybe we can deal better with that. But of course, it's a very big challenge. And these kind of exercises will help, but you will have to do it not just once in a while, because when there is a lot of fear all around me, I need to feel safety, even then, if just in the soul, just me and Baba. But I need to experience it, because if not, it would be very difficult for me to continue with strength. And maybe I have to take decisions to how I will live this situation. Maybe I have to be there, maybe not. Like in some Murli Baba said that if we are very connected with him, we will move our feet towards where we have to go, even without thinking, no? So I think that the faith is the last thing we will lose. The faith is what is going to keep us strong.
Great. You reminded me of my first time in Madhuban when a group of 3 or 4 people went to Baba's Rock, and we were attacked by some people who were holding sticks and weapons, and we were attacked by them, and they didn't touch me. They touched the other souls, but I could feel Baba. He was moving my feet, my legs, where to go. And I was completely with him, and he led me where I had to go. And I feel whatever you shared. I went through this situation, and yes, the adrenaline and Baba and everyone. And then I went to the police, and I brought the policeman there. But after that, it was we had this comfort from the daddies. The daddies gave us so much love, and everybody was saying, "Who is the one who was not attacked?" And I was said, "Okay, I was this one." And the daddy said, "Good karma." So, uh, they helped me a lot because it was my first time in Madhuban, and I had this experience. But yes, Baba was there. So yes, actually, those exercises you said are very helpful. But yes, people who, face situation like war or something else, or the earthquakes, and people die, and actually they need a lot of help from us, actually.
Yeah, and we have to rehearse because in Latin America, we were kind of working on how we are going to deal with someone dying next to us. But one sister said that, and what happened if many died, not just one soul? Like, well, we know that the soul just will leave the body, no? But the right awareness in that moment, we need to rehearse beforehand. And we did a whole meditation about that if you want to do it now. But it's how to kind of visualize that we are there as Baba's instrument. And yes, of course, they can, I will tell you something I learned. I used to have a lot of fear of being tortured, because my father faced that in the country where I was born. And because of his traumatic experience, then I learned that was something so bad, But then with Baba and with my own effort, I realized that all of that was my perspective of the fear of feeling pain and someone kind of giving me pain. But then I met some souls that were soldiers, and they were really good souls, and they were able, they felt a lot of feelings of serving their nation, and they were even they were able, like, they will give their lives to their nation. So they were very good souls. And so it changed my thoughts about them and about the fear of being tortured. And I thought, like, okay, those are souls, and they are doing, it's not nice. It's not like I would like to be tortured. But now I can feel that it's pain. It's just pain. And I'm sure that whatever we have to face, if I'm with God, if I'm really connected with Baba, is going to change my experience. And we recently had the sister from El Salvador that she felt, she's 87, and she felt that her hip was completely broken. And it was in 3 a.m., so no one was around to help her, and she couldn't move. And I just spoke to her, and she felt that Baba put her in the subtle region, and she had no pain at all. Even now, she is now being treated and like that. And I feel that that kind of practice is going to help us in those times. But we have to practice beforehand in order to be ready when the situation comes. And yeah, that's some of those experiences. But I'm sure all of you must have some other experiences, spiritual experiences too.